We are a health and wellness brand in the beauty cosmetic industry. It's disrupting the collagen landscape in the retail game right now by making it fun, very tasty, and with our comprehensive formulas that have proven results. There's a lot of reasons why Obvi is not just bought once.
Raj, thank you for coming today on Brandless. Super stoked to have you. We're talking about Obvi, talking about some sales, retail. You guys got a huge company. Would love to just dive into some deep knowledge and tell us what you know. And super excited to have you.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me, man. This is actually my first podcasting, and excited to be here, talk some shop, talk some retail, and really just what I don't consider work because I love doing it day in and day out. So the people that I do work with internally and then just externally as far as partners make my job very, very easy. So easy to talk to.
That's awesome. So, what is your position right now?
I am the director of sales operations here at Obvi. So I handle everything from e-com marketplaces to retail that we're striving to get into, accounts that we're already in, and just the broker network that's kind of in the middle helping us through this.
Awesome. Yeah. What's your elevator pitch for Obvi?
Playback. We are a health and wellness brand in the beauty cosmetic industry. It's disrupting the collagen landscape in the retail game right now by making it fun, very tasty, and with our comprehensive formulas that have proven results. There's a lot of reasons why Obvi is not just bought once.
Right. Okay. What's your customer retention rate?
Upwards of 30%.
Wow. What do you guys do to keep that? You do emails? Do you capture the emails and stuff, or
Our CEO has a great job of engaging the customers that our sales team, go hard to, day in and day out to kind of acquire. We were a D2C native brand when we launched back in 2019. With our marketing team, our CMO, we've done a great job establishing our brand all launch. Kind of makes it easier when we're, trying to broadcast or showcase our brand to retailer.
yeah? So you guys are DC, right? Or you started off DC, but now you're doing B2B wholesale stuff.
Wholesale, retail.
Is it because you could do better volume, or because the website wasn't converting? Yeah, so you thought, or are you doing both of them?
I think that's a double-edged sword as far as the answer goes. Where we definitely hang on to our tagline, which is the obvious choice in women's health. To have a tagline like that or have a branding like Obvi, you need to be seen not only on a digital landscape but also meet customers where they're at or where they're going to shop. And we learned that back in 2022 when we landed our first retailer vitamin shop.
Awesome. What kind of retail doors are you in now?
We are attacking all channels. So everywhere from mass retail, like a Walmart or nationwide Walmart, to a specialty retailer like Vitamin Shop. And then also we've done, in the past 8 months to a year, we've launched over 7 grocery retailers that, doing very well just as far as brand recognition, but also building this demographic of grocery channel customers that we never knew, we were striving or thriving.
Yeah, super cool. So you're in Walmart. That's a huge, all of Walmart. That's pretty good. What's your demographic? Targeting Walmart specifically for a certain demographic, or obviously because if you can get Walmart and you sell them, why not? But are you looking for younger women, middle-aged women, older women?
Yeah, I think with the retailers that we're in right now, they definitely align with our demographic as a brand is, um women that are anywhere from 21 to about 55 years old that have the intent of being healthy but aren't there yet. Either your customers that probably eat healthy 2 to 3 times out of the week, but probably still have that midnight cheat snack or have a cheat meal here and there. So Obvi wants to be that bridge where if you are thinking of having your cheat meal, you can still have the taste but put something better in your body. So that's our current demographic. Where we don't have a community of fit or extra healthy customer base. It's more of like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. Let Avi help you get there.
Yeah. Do you target solution aware or problem aware clients typically or consumer?
So I think we have a lot of products that do a little bit of both. We have products that are kind of help the reactive customer base. And then we also have a lot of products that can be very preventive as far as certain wellness issues that lie.
So when you do the solution aware, how are you targeting those people?
By A&B testing different product renders or product innovations that we're coming out with to understand, would our customer base want something like this? And if they do, what is that reason, right? That reason becomes more of a solution based reason where I have this and this would help me with this. And once we have a large enough audience where the A&B testing actually proves concept, and we will go into production with that concept.
How many A and B tests did you have to do to like start seeing results?
All the A&B our CMO and CDO A&B test not only products but messaging around our current catalogs, current pipeline innovation. I would say we're doing anywhere from 30 to 50 A&B tests on a weekly basis, depending on what our pipeline is looking like.
That is that like again you said A and B for a lot of different things, but do you guys run ads right now actually?
We do.
Okay, what's your do you make a is the ads for the D2C that you guys are still doing, or is it just for brand awareness? It's what I was like with like
Performance brand marketing that our CMO internally does a very, very good job with.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So you guys have an internal CMO company, digital marketing company. I just
So our CMO is our media buyer, but he has a lot of great partners that he works with as far as SaaS companies or just different media companies that have helped similar brands or similar CPG companies in the space have seen really great results. So again, part of this, part of being with Obvi, um, there's a lot of things we know on an individual basis, but there's a lot of things that we learn together as a team. And media buying was one of those things that we had a really, really good understanding going in. Every tool can be sharpened
yeah,
at any point.
yeah, that's awesome. So how long has this company been up for?
So we launched in June of 2019.
Okay, Obvi's been up since 2019. So again, tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in this space?
So I have been in CPG space for now 3 years. Before this, I was managing offices for a gas and electric company back in Maryland slash California. Cool story. How I got into Obvi is the CEO is actually my brother, my blood brother, my big brother. So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, we need somebody on Albert's team. Albert is our VP of sales that can kind of you know, help grow the business and really understand where Obvi heading next." This was the same transition period of Obvi getting into retail and kind of stepping off. Not really stepping off, but stepping into another light as far as revenue and channel direction goes.
Okay, yeah. So do you guys do like milestones? Do you guys got rocks and stuff like that for goals that you have set this year?
No, this past February we hit our 100 million mark in lifetime revenue, which is a huge milestone for us. Thank you so much. We've been tracking it. I would say for the 6 or 8 months prior to make sure that this was the year we hit it. February came around and we hit it, and it was a great achievement, but also a great reminder that we have lots to do, a lot more to do here. Yeah, I think another thing, when you look at a brand like Obvi or even some of our competitors, it's great to see how big Obvi is, but easy to forget how small our team is. We run very, very lean. We have 9 people on our team, and 3 of them are the founders. So just kind of taking a step back, understanding that even internally, from my eyes, it's very commendable. Just a team that we put together to do things we've done.
Yeah, that's super awesome. That's super awesome. So that's really cool. So a team of nine. Who makes the product for you?
So our CBO is in charge of product development, product innovation, formulation, and everything branding. All the pink labels, all the colorful designs that you see, that's all coming from our CBO.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you have a manufacturing company put it together. Yeah. And then do they ship it? Do you guys have like your warehouse? Or do they ship it directly to like the Walmarts?
Yep, we've been with our 3PL since we launched back in 2019, and they are just, you know, they're just amazing to work with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How do you create that relationship?
Honestly, when we started attacking retail, our 3PL have been, talking to Ron since 2019. We've been working with them for D2C, and they turn around a lot of or I would say velocity sized orders very quickly. That's why we stuck with them since up until the fact we made that transition into retail. And even now on the retail side, we're talking pallets and certain requirements and certain case labels, and they have just been one, amazing to work with, two, very responsive, and three, just makes the brand's life a little bit that much easier.
Yeah. That's super cool. So what kind of advice do you have as a sales guy to other salesmen out there trying to sell products, their company's product?
I would tell them to get all your ducks in a row before you even start pitching. So that means your sales sheet, make sure they're updated. Number two, make sure go over your pricing with finance or CEO or whoever that may be in your brand, and to understand, hey, if we get into a conversation with the account that we really want, what is that bottom price? You can figure out the wholesale price pretty easily, but what is that bottom price if we're in a conversation with a Walmart, or if we're in a conversation with one of these big box retailers that we really want to be in? But what can we counter offer if that wholesale price isn't appealing to them? So always have that plan B as far as pricing. And then make sure you're upfront about the products that you have or you're selling for your brand, right? If you don't see yourself taking it, or if you can't stand behind it, you will never be able to sell it.
That's big. That's true.
And then the last piece is just, work on yourself. The first thing a buyer looks at, or any kind of buyer, doesn't have to be pertaining to CPG or retail. What I've learned being in sales for the past 12 years now is, the buyer on the other side is always buying you first. So if you're the first person, point of contact, if you're the first person to approach the buyer, or have that communication with the buyer, make sure you're bringing that enthusiasm about your brand, because if you can't, nobody else will, and you're the one showcasing that brand. So all those things I would make sure that you're doing as a salesperson for a brand. And if you're kind of missing one of those, it's okay to step back and kind of reevaluate there, because you don't want to come off as, one, you don't know what you're talking about, or what you're talking about. Two, you don't seem like you don't really care about what you're selling. And three, um, you don't have the confidence, you don't have the charisma in yourself to actually think that you can get this done. So those are three things I would say.
Yeah, those are some good bullet points. How do you get your education for your sales experience? Did you read books? Did you attend classes? You did it for 12 years, so obviously experience is the best. You know,
Yeah, I think what really got me into sales is the understanding of how to persuade someone you don't know, and that whole idea uh became very interesting to me, because I was always interested in psychology. So, once I kind of, it's the same idea as you go into a psychologist, right? You're laying out all your pain points and your problems to somebody that you don't know. So having that type of conversation with now an incentive in front of you, whether that be commission or your bonus that you're working towards, I think builds that motivation. And then as far as my learning goes, I am a very kinesthetic learner, where I need to go through the motions once, maybe twice, and I need a detailed explanation while I'm going through it. And that's the last time you will ever have to get silly questions about the same thing over and over, or me asking you, how do I do that? I don't really um find the idea of like learn it yourself when you have ample resources to go directly to the source and get that information.
What do you mean by that? So, like, are you talking about, like, books? Like, do you read books, podcasts, or are you talking about, like, don't do trial and error?
Yeah, if you're talking retail or distribution or even CPG, I'm going to find if I have a question or if I want to know something or if I want to understand a process or a workflow or a system, I'm going to go to the direct person that's either one creating that, two facilitating it, three is our account rep on that type of task that I'm pursuing, or four, the last resort will for be would be a brand or an operator or a founder that has gone through the similar thing that I'm looking to go through. But yeah, again, I find that going through the motions for me has been a better way to learn than kind of just give me a packet of your company and I'll go through every section, every clause, and every kind of procedure that you guys have and try to retain it. I rather learn as I go, with a little bit of motivation, with a little bit of incentive, because that kind of builds the versatility in me as far as getting stuff done. But then once it comes back around, you know exactly what you're doing because you've done it while you were learning.
Yeah. How hard was it to get into retail the first time you guys were going from D2C to B2B? How was that? Was it, like, kinda, like, nervous? You had to do a lot of research or kinda just happened, you just got into a wholesale account?
But yeah, no, I think with Vitamin Shop, we definitely had to build a brand story to pitch to them to make them understand why Obvi deserves a space on their shelf. And we were pretty naive in the retail space at that point where we thought everything that's been working on D2C, we can just copy and paste it into retail, right? I'll give you an example of that. Our vitamin shop launch, we went in with 4 SKUs, three of them being collagen powders, and we didn't go in with a unflavored powder. And we went in with 3 flavors, that 2 milk-based flavors. What we learned very quickly was that, 80% of the um, collagen market or the collagen consumers like their collagen unflavored, right? So now I think the stat was 32 or 36% of collagen users or collagen consumers buy their collagen in stores. So now it's 80% of that 36%, right, are using unflavored collagen. You've already narrowed your shelf down regardless of how many SKUs you have on that shelf, right? So we learned that very quickly. And we pivoted. Got our unflavored in there, and it's the best selling SKU in there.
Yeah. Well, that's a big thing to know. How did you find that out? Did somebody just bring it up to you? Because obviously you had the 3 where you're not selling very well, and you're like, "What's the deal?" And so you look into a little more about, kind of product retailers buy.
I think what we did very well with Vitamin Shop that led us to nipping in the butt very, very quickly is that as a team, we were talking to other brands and seeing, hey, when you're in an account like Vitamin Shop, what's the best way to kind of not only become a vendor, but also a partner, right, with your retailers. And one thing that we heard from numerous brands was you should visit their stores. You should visit their stores. You should talk to their team. They're very personable. Yes, they're nationwide, but at the same time, there's only 750 stores. So I think 2.5 to 3 months into launch of Vitamin Shop, when we kind of saw the slow sales, and then also under what we were up against as far as the unflavored, I went on, I would say, a 5 to 6 month road trip, and I visited over 450 vitamin shops across the country, and the one thing that just kept coming up is, why don't you guys have an unflavored it? Why don't you have an unflavored it?
Well, so the vitamin shop told you about it.
Yeah, the vitamin shop store managers, the employees, the assistant managers.
So that was huge to go to your seller, and then they just gave you advice that you never would have thought of.
Yeah, not only for the vitamin shop account, but now we make sure as a staple product for every submission or every retailer that we go into, especially in the college and set, you're gonna get our own flavor. You might get another 2 or 3 flavors, but our hero product now is gonna be the unflavored. And on the contrary, when we launched, right, we launched as a flavored collagen brand. We didn't have an unflavored collagen for the first 8 months of launch because we only had flavors.
Uh-huh.
So really understanding, the D2C brand or a D2C native brand that's attacking retail, knowing that sometimes whatever works very, very well on D2C doesn't necessarily mean that's going to work, very, very well in retail.
Did you see your D2C go up after realizing that unflavored is a big seller?
Well,
Looking at it unflavored to your D2C?
yeah, yeah, no, I think we captured the customers that would associate or kind of engage with our landing pages, but then figure out that we don't have an unflavored. And there was a lot of abandoned carts. There was a lot of like data points that we saw that if we did have an unflavored on our D2C without really marketing it right on our D2C, um, we would still see some kind of collagen sales. And the way we kind of track that is, hey, if we add this unflavored for all the products, for all the orders that we get through our website that don't have any collagen peptides, right, or collagen powders, what happens if you do add an unflavored? Would they pick up a collagen powder then? And we did see an increase where we would have a hydration order and a greens order and a fat burner order. But because we didn't have that unflavored, they didn't have any kind of collagen powder. Once we added that unflavored, those same customers are now picking up the collagen product line as well.
That's awesome, and that's huge. So what are some milestones that you have for the next 6 months? I know this quarter's about up, but
Yeah, no, I think
next quarter, maybe.
HEB, we've a crazy story behind that one, but we're launching in September. Our biggest demographic as far as D2C, and I would say across the whole brand, is that southern region, Texas mainly. To have a Texas-based retailer to kind of launch our products and that too with 8 different SKUs and nationwide, or sorry, region-wide is huge for us. It kind of a testament to our brand and what we've been doing. A couple other things that are in the works is we're going after Kroger, we're going after Walgreens. There's a lot of talk about going direct with Albertsons. We're just figuring out the details there, but there is a lot of interest from a lot of these retailers where if you asked me maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we weren't even thinking about.
Yeah, that kind of brings me back to the question I was asking earlier. How hard was it to get into the first retailer? We talked about that. But after you did that first one, was it a lot easier? You were more comfortable getting more and more and more? You kind of had a better playbook? Do you feel like you have it now? Like now I know we could get into retailers if we want it.
I think Vitamin Shop set us up on how we should approach Walmart, but the trickle down and the domino effect of other retailers really came after our nationwide launch from Walmart. The Vitamin Shop was our teacher as far as the retail game goes for Obvi. I guess like Walmart was our SAT test or that big test right before you get to land your college, and then all these other retailers are just what we're getting into as far as colleges, if that's a good analogy. But yeah, I think Vitamin Shop, we've seen some lows, but we've definitely seen some greater highs. Really set us up for our approach to Walmart, where after the first meeting, they kind of approved us on the spot.
Yeah, yeah. That's super cool. That's super cool. So what other advice do you got? Tell me about some strategies and stuff you guys have implemented that you haven't seen other companies do. That kind of made you guys really shine.
Yeah, I think the one strategy that everyone loves to talk about or kind of say that they do, but that Avi implement religiously is over communicating. Because we're a small team, it's very easy to start working in silos or groups and not worry about what's going on in the retail phase, but what's going on in just regular wholesale, what's going on the D2C, what's going on with marketing, what's going on with our Facebook community, right? So us having, stand up meetings, daily or weekly or some breakout rooms or breakout sessions or even our weekly all hands meeting. I think we do a very, very good job of over communicating. And I think that's one thing if brands can understand, they can be a lot more synergized. I think another big thing for me is if you can learn, if you guys brands can learn how to over communicate internally, then they learn how to do that externally with their partners, with their 3PLs, with their, in some cases for certain accounts, with their buyers, with their brokers. And that's what has really helped me internally to take out externally as far as if I'm going to over communicate internally, and there's certain tasks that need to be done. I'm going to take that same kind of communication approach with our partners that would get these done, right? So if there's certain deadlines, I'm following up 4 or 5 times with that partner. If there's certain label, tasks that we need to get over to our manufacturer to make sure we hit launch for a retailer, I'm over communicating with all three of them, right? Mm. And a lot of brands that I've spoken to as well is like they don't feel like they need to do that. And more often than not, that's when you kind of drop the ball.
It's awesome. Do you guys have a 5-year plan?
I would say in the next 5 years, we see ourselves being the leader in collagen space. Not with if not double, then at least sorry, if not triple, then at least double the retail landscape or retail visibility that we have right now. But we're in conversations with a few celebrities, um, where that can take our efforts and kind of amplify it, but on a faster or more efficient way. So I think for the next 5 years, I think the one word answer to that is growth. But now, if you take the business in each kind of department that we are, there's different ways that we want to grow in each department, right? So like with our D2C, we want Obvi to now become, you know, a kind of a base for women and just people in general that are looking for daily health or daily support as far as any kind of needs that they want. In my eyes, in the next 5 years, I want to talk to a random stranger in an aisle at, say, Giant Eagle and talk to them about Obvi, and I don't want to hear what's that, right? That would be that would be my 5-year plan. Where even if you probably don't take Obvi, you know what Obvi is.
So your 5-year plan is everybody knows what Obvi is, and that you're gonna pretty much be shining every other collagen brand that makes collagen.
Outshine collagen brand. We're gonna be in everywhere from your mom and pop vitamin store to your big time grocer Albertson right around the corner.
Yeah, that's super cool. What's your plan on getting the name out there? Are you guys just being in every store? So your plan's going straight retail? Is your plan doing billboards, ads, stuff like that, or
Yeah,
getting newspapers?
with the great Zord stars that were due, no, performance marketing online. I think that's gonna help us get into more retail. I think with the great job that our brokers do, that's also gonna do us a great justice as far as our retail efforts. But yeah, retail's the goal. So you want to do online, you do it like ads and stuff.
Are you running meta ads? Do we talk about that?
So we're running.
All right. So you guys are doing ads right now to get that recognition. So the retail stores will let you in their stores. That make it worth it. Very cool. And so your goal of making that bigger than any other brand is through retail, though.
Retail, yeah. I think just having a you know penetrating a community or a customer base online is a lot easier, a lot quicker. So if we've done that for the past 5, 6 years, kind of meeting the other side of the customer base on retail level, we need to be everywhere. So yes, I think we're going retail first but with a notion of that's only going to work if we keep growing our Ds.
Well, any other advice that you can give? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think I would just hone in on understanding what it takes from taking your D2C brand where you probably just had to create, a couple UPCs from GS1, a couple labels, some great tasting products or whatever your product may be. What does that mean from taking it off of .com and now onto a shelf because I would say 3 to 6 month learning curve is much needed. And if brands start kind of start going into retail a little premature, that can be a costly mess up.
Mm, how so?
Just because, a lot of these retailers, not even retailers, most of the retailers need distributors or distribution partners where, if the product isn't selling, or if the product comes in damaged, or if the product that they bought doesn't move before their expiry date, or if the product that goes into their warehouse shows up in a wrong way as far as the requirements go, that has a fee to it, right? And that's not in addition to swapping fees that you get from the retailers already to be on shelf, right? They always say you gotta pay to play, and that's very very true in the retail game. Where yeah, you're getting distribution, yeah, you're getting on shelf, but if you don't have your pricing structure right out for account for all these other fees, or better yet, if you kind of go premature into retail and you don't even understand the fees before going in, not only will that hurt you, but now you're surprised about it, right? Which is even a bigger problem. Where, if you kind of account for it and then go in with it, then at least you know it's happening. But if you don't account for it and you're now say below your costs because of the pricing that you put out, and you're surprised that that's just a double whammy that no brand really would want and consider or should have considered, especially going after their first retailer. So again, not to say that retail shouldn't be on your forefront, but understanding the in between from taking your D2C to retail is very, very vital.
That is big. That is big. All right. Well, tell me, you got a favorite quote? What's your favorite quote?
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I like that. I like that. That was also one of my favorite quotes. How can we hear about you? How can we learn more about you? Talk to you if anybody has any questions.
I'm on LinkedIn. This is Raj Shah at Obvi. I my email is raj@myobvi.com. In my early years at Obvi, I've done a lot of Amazon FBA, internal, just so if you go on my LinkedIn and kind of go to book services, you can see all my experience as far as Obvi goes in CPG. But would love to talk Amazon FB, would love to talk retail, would love to talk broker management, kind of anything CPG related, and mostly on the retail side. Please reach out.
Awesome. Yeah. Invaluable resource, Raj here. Don't skip out on that. But if you guys like this kind of stuff, these kind of good conversations, think about liking, subscribing, any kind of comments. We'll try to answer your questions best you can. Reach out to us, ask him questions. That's what the community is for. Help a business owner, help other sales reps, help other business owners. That's what you got to do. You got to do that. But Raj, thank you so much for coming on. We'll probably have you on again in the future, and it was such a blessing.
John, thank you so much. It's a great experience, and I'm glad to be a part of your community.